Hello, I'm Tommy Moore from the Bartitsu Lab, and in this particular video I'm going to show you two punches. I'm going to show you Hurricane Jackson's scoop punch. Hurricane Jackson's scoop punch essentially is a two-fisted uppercut, and I'm going to show you where it works, how it works, and why you'd use it. You see in a lot of traditional martial arts simultaneous two-handed punching, so you see in a lot of katas things like this, things like that. You know, you see in a lot of traditional arts two-fisted punching, but a lot of those are ornamental and stylized, and some would say represent, say, a grapple, a double lapel grab, you know, a belt and collar grab. You know, so a lot of people in the bunkai, they start to pull apart these particular hits, but they can work really effectively as dual-fisted blows. Hurricane Jackson used a lot in boxing. His boxing, it's visceral, it's real. There is no ornamentation. So if it's going to use it, it's going to be to knock people out or create an opportunity to knock someone out. Essentially, it works like this. You keep your elbows in. You should have good elbow discipline anyway if you know anything about boxing, so your elbows should be somewhat in. People can get away with a bit of a flare if they've got those dynamite reflexes. Most people absolutely should keep their elbows in where they can. And what essentially we're doing here with Hurricane Jackson's scoop punch is we're dropping our body weight, so we're bending both of our knees and we're driving our hands up here, but we're not firing the hands away from the body. So it's not here and then I throw two uppercuts, because there is no power here. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm lunging, so I'm keeping this the same distance from my face at all times. Okay, so from here I lunge with my knees, so I put my body weight into this. So it's not doing two uppercuts, it's leaning forward, bending the front knee especially, and driving these two as they're kind of locked in. They're almost like horns. You know, if you imagine a buffalo, the horns don't extend or retract, they're there, but the buffalo gives the horns the power. You know, without the buffalo behind it, the horns are pointless. So from here, boxing guard, we roll our fists into two uppercut positions and we explode with a minimal forward projection and minimal uppercuts. You know, these, the drop in my body weight and the launching forwards and upwards of my body weight act like the arm would in an uppercut anyway. I don't need to extend it. From here, bang, and I drive this forward, bang. This is quite good because it puts both of my hands inside the opponent's arms. So if you imagine you're fighting me and we're opposite each other, as soon as I hit you with this, both of my arms can grab you around the head, under your arms, so I've got a good underhook position or head clinch position, or the ability to cause you further damage with thumb strikes, elbow strikes, because my hands are already inside. I've negated your ability to hit me from either side because I can defend easy. My hands are inside yours, so you can't hit me with straights. You can only hit me with circular punches, and those are easy to defend because my hands are already inside. So again, this is especially good for shorter fighters. I drop my body weight, I launch my body weight down and then up into the opponent. It's all driven by body mass, bending the knees and gravitational force. As soon as I hit, I'm then in a position where if I do need to defend, it's only against round blows, and I've got the inside line then to start smashing away. So Hurricane Jackson's scoop punch, we'll break it down. So we keep our elbows in tight, we bend our knees, we roll our fists, and then we burst our body weight forward here. So we go down and then up, okay? From here. I don't need much power to it because I don't need much arm power to it because my mass is driving it. Again, these are the horns of the buffalo. I'm the buffalo. I need to move. So from here, elbows in, turn the fists, drop the body weight down, and then drive it up into the opponent, into the jaw, into the liver and spleen. So you can hit the liver and spleen at the same time if you want to. I find it better at the jaw because then it puts my hand in a brilliant overhook or neck click position if I want to. If I go for the body, I'm in a brilliant underhook position. So from here, the scoop punch to the body, I drop my body weight a little bit lower, I drive forward, hit to the body, and at that point I want to achieve underhooks and move. I have to move because there's a chance of me being hit. When I'm going up to the head, elbows in, drop my knees, turn my fists, hit to the head, and now I need to be in a position to overhook or keep striking. So those are things you need to bear in mind when you're doing Hurricane Jackson's scoop punch. Drop, turn, drive, and then grapple. So get used to drop, turn, drive with your body mass behind it. So don't think two uppercuts, just think horns of the buffalo. As soon as you hit, be ready to grapple. Drop, turn, drive. drop, turn, drive, drop, turn, drive. You know, there's very little movement of my arms here. They're solid blocks. I'm hitting with 2 fists, so even if he defends one, he's going to catch another. Not many people do a 2-fisted defense, and even if they do, even if their guard is tight, what you've done with this is pin both of those hands to the enemy's face. So let's say the enemy's got a really tight guard. As soon as I pin these in, I know where your hands are. And my hands are outside yours, so I can step off and throw tight, punishing hooks if I want to. So even if the enemy's guard's high, if I do this scoop punch and maintain some force, some contact, and that's why my body should be behind it, I can then start dropping elbows, throwing hooks, going to grapples, because I've pinned both your hands, albeit for a 1/10 of a second. That's all I need. Just pin those hands a little bit and then fire off. But odds are you'll catch the person anyway. Most people only defend with one hand. So again, drop, turn, strike. And then remember to grapple afterwards or move off or strike thereafter. The next one I want to look at is more of a principle than a technique. It's called speedball punching. So today you see a lot of people on the speedball going bam, 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 and they'll do it really fast. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Traditionally, on a speedball, you see people go forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand. You get a lot more of those diagonal shots in, as well as just the kind of more arm based. I don't think this does much for you other than timing it, even though the value is very low. So the forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. And so I take that and I apply that to the traditional boxing in which we do. So I get my guys used to being able to fire 2 shots as a ricochet off one. So if I hit you with a cross, I then need to hit you with a pivot blow or a sideways hammer fist. Cross, hammer, hammer. Or if I go hammer, cross. So hammer, and instead of just firing this, the obvious move, hammer, I fire it back in, so I get 3 blows for the price of 2. So again, getting used to being able to hit and ricochet, really, really important parts of the historical boxing that I teach. It gets you used to being a little bit more unorthodox, and you see this in a lot of Filipino systems today, but you see in a lot of the earlier speedball work, forehand, backhand are really prevalent, a lot more prevalent than just this soft circular motion. It means that I can use this forearm, if I haven't just hit you with a hammer fist, as a bit of a frame. I can keep you away from a grapple just for a second so I can hit you with something else. So it gives me more striking options. Forehand pivot blow or sideways hammer fist, as soon as that hits you, I keep that frame pretty solid so I can hit you with something really powerful with the other hand. So to put that into practice, I can go forehand, backhand, maintain that frame, so a bit of forward pressure, and then I'll drive in with a cross or a hammer or whatever I want to do. So that first hit, that's got some power to it. The second hit can really just be a frame, so I can hit you with the fist, the bottom half of the fist, like a hammer fist, with the forearm, or with the elbow if you start to close on me. But essentially, speed bag hitting drill is forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand, forehand, backhand. And then get used to the way around. Backhand, forehand hit. So there's lots of different ways you can play it, lots of different ways you can use it. But again, making sure that you're hitting off unorthodox angles is really, really important. And as we're doing Bartitsu, we're doing boxing for self-defense, we can afford ourselves the luxury of a hit to a pivot blow to a grapple or something else, because we've got more options available to us. So again, just bear in mind, not always to punch in an orthodox boxing rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, you know, 1, 1, 2. Sometimes get used to offbeats. Hit, hit, hit. 1, so it's 1, 1.5, 2. 1, 1.5, 2. Alternate the rhythm. So that speed bag drill, hit, pivot, hit, pivot, hit, pivot, is really useful. It's unexpected. It stops people closing the range. So if you're a person that likes to keep range and throw bombs, that extra pivot blow stops people closing on you. I'm a taller fighter. I jab a lot. Eventually, a smaller fighter wants to close off my jab. If I hit and then pivot blow, I've got a forearm across his body, across his face, which stops him getting in. It stops him advancing and taking ground, which means I can fire my 16-inch short guns at his face. So again, hit, pivot, hit, hit, pivot, hit. You can play around with it, there's endless combinations to it. You know, I can hit low and then pivot high. So hit low, pivot high, hit low, pivot high, hit high, pivot low. I wouldn't really do that one for me. Hit low, pivot high works really, really well. So if you take the chance to drop jab, get this up here, stops the opponent closing in. Can cause damage using your forearm or the bottom portion of your fist, can be really powerful and explosive. So as well as your normal boxing, practice these speed bag drills as I call them. 1, 2, 3. They're really fun. They keep you defensively quite sound because I've still always got this rear hand for defense. Hit, hit. This hand's always ready for no matter what happens. It's an unexpected angle and you hit with a more powerful weapon. The forearm, the bottom of your fist, your elbow. So hit, pivot, or hit low, pivot high, hit, pivot. And it typically comes in threes. Hit, pivot, hit. Hit, pivot, hit. You could go low, pivot high, low. So low, pivot high, low. Low, pivot high, low. So you've got all these options, high, low, high, low, high, high. You've got all the different heights and variables, but the main practice to get into is as soon as you hit and make contact, ricochet sharply off. Don't pull your hand completely back, ricochet sharply off and drive in with that pivot blow or that forearm. It will really mix up your boxing game, your boxing for self-defense game, and I hope you find that useful. Cheers.